is an interplanetary flying space saucer. We are returning to Mars in it.
We?
Yes, isn't it delightful?
In recent reporting, author Michael Schellenberger writes that multiple sources have confirmed whistleblower David Grush's claim that the United States government possesses a number of non-human vehicles. These sources are, quote, either high-ranking intelligence officials, former intelligence officials, or individuals who could be verified as being involved in the United States government UAP efforts for 3 or more decades, according to his reporting.
Schellenberger writes that the individuals said they had seen or been presented with, quote, credible and verifiable evidence that the U.S. government and U.S. military contractors possess at least 12 or more alien spacecraft, some of which they shared with AARO or the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, quote, which AARO has refused to provide Congress. The office reportedly said it has not discovered any verifiable information, and, quote, because it does not have the authority to verify it and may not want to verify it. Joining us now to discuss is Twitter Files author and author of Apocalypse Never, Michael Schellenberger. Thank you for being with us, Michael.
Good to be with you.
So, confirmation, aliens are real. This is exciting. What do you make of the baker's dozen of alien spacecraft that we have?
So, we're not alone. How do you feel about that? Make you nervous? Does it change your outlook on faith? It's pretty interesting. You know, they say that we have more than 12 craft. In the report, they say some have crashed and some have been left abandoned. The big question is, for those that have crashed, were there remains of the pilots of these vehicles? They claim that there have been. We also know that other governments around the world have made claims that they too have basically found and recovered these alien spacecraft. Some of these vehicles that were abandoned, you wonder, well, what happened to the pilots or the passengers? Were they picked up in some sort of a lifeboat and rushed off the planet? We don't know. But it's fun to think about. I mean, you look at the vastness of our universe. It's very human of us to be selfish and think of Earth as all that there is, or even our own little cliques and, neighborhoods. That's it. There's nothing else beyond that. But news like this is exciting to me because ever since I was a young boy, I've always looked up at the stars and wondered, is this it? Are we by ourselves? And it wasn't anything that was encouraged or taught to, me by my parents. It was just the random curiosity of a child looking at the stars. It makes you think about the meaning of all of this. Not only does it, in my opinion, show us that we're not alone, but it expands and provides us with a purpose. I mean, you look at what are the ramifications of religion across the world. Like for us Christians, did Jesus Christ die for their sins as well? Did they sin? We don't know. You look at the advancements that we've made in the last 100 years, from motor cars to flight to being able to spend months below the water in submarines. The advancements of computers, communications. Where did that knowledge come from? For a species, you look at our last 100 years, and we have advanced so fast. So fast. How? Was it just the imagination and the random ideas of the curious who decided to try and put a couple wires together or try and make a vacuum tube? Or just some random recipe in somebody's kitchen? It's just so intriguing that this possibility is actually here and we're being told about it, finally. For many years, we've had to deal with conspiracy theorists, the tinfoil hat wearing, folks, traveling around the country in their Winnebagos with satellites on the roof, trying to communicate with, little green men, or trying to discover lost civilizations, the Anunnaki, watching movies such as the Chariots of the Gods or Ancient Aliens on History Channel. All looked at as, they're all crackpots. It's all go for a good laugh. But yet, when you have government whistleblowers, people with esteem, people with reputation coming forward now and claiming we actually have this technology, these vehicles, these bodies, it changes things. I mean, to me, it's wondrous. I mean, it's hard to excuse me. It's hard to fathom because as a human, we're familiar with our world, our little spot in the galaxy. Now, us as humans, we're surrounded by life every single day. We walk outside, we see an anthill. We make a choice. Do we just leave the anthill alone, or do we destroy it and kill the ants? And that's where it kind of gets scary when you think about possibly extraterrestrials really being here. These beings would have to be at a minimum thousands of years more advanced than we are. They would see us as that anthill in the backyard. They could just be flying by. They see that anthill, our little blue dot in the middle of nowhere. And they're thinking, we'll just leave it go. But the hardest part is what happens when we come across a spacefaring civilization that looks at that anthill and says, nah. And they destroy it. That's the hardest thing about all of this. Honestly, it puts our existence in question. It makes it more fragile. It kind of reminds us we're not the dominant species in this universe, but one of many. We can be quashed just like that fast. And we are nothing. And honestly, I think it's wonderful. because it just reminds us of how precious each one of us are. And there's another aspect of this, is, as you've seen in the video, how I started off. I started off with Enoch's dream and what the forefathers of our Christian faith supposedly experienced back in their time. Enoch and Elijah, both swept away by angels in fiery chariots. Who were they? Were they really, in fact, angels? Or were they actually more advanced beings? We don't know. So, the question is what does it mean to you? Does finding out that we are not alone change anything for you? Are you still going to go to that anthill and destroy it? I mean, they're just a simple creature doing two tasks, tunneling and reproducing. That's their fate. They can't comprehend what us humans are. And just like us humans, we might not really be able to comprehend an advanced species that's spacefaring. And we are their ants. Simply amazing. I mean, you look in the last year or so, we've come so far with technology that our space agency was able to take a satellite, place it just beyond the orbit of Venus, the James Webb Telescope. With that telescope, we can literally see into the past. It has broken every rule of physics that we know. And we have discovered other planets that are hospitable to our kind. It is amazing. So, with finding this out, it's glorious. It's news that should be shared. Not just on the internet or, between friends. But this is mainstream media stuff that, they should be covering this. Why not? Why won't they cover it? Because these are all just crackpots? It doesn't follow the narrative? Or is it because, like in the movie Men in Black, where Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are sitting on the park bench, and Will Smith tells Tommy Lee Jones that, people are smart, they can handle this. Tommy Lee Jones tells him straight up, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. Individuals are smart. People are dumb. When information like this gets into the masses, people panic, they get scared. And what does it do to the morality? All these things that they've been raised to believe is right or wrong might just go out the door. We have a society, believe it or not, was actually based on Judeo-Christian values. And that is how we got here today. A moral society, a polite society. If we take away the illusion, I guess you would say, of being the only ones in this infinite universe, we're no longer special. And there are people out there that would take advantage of it. Because they're going to be so narrow-minded that they're going to think that none of this matters. I think it does. To me, it just goes to show us that however our universe was created, our reality was created, either through evolution or a supreme being that this is not the end for us. This is not the end of our consciousness. Because, at least from our knowledge, our technology, our imaginations, in order to traverse this great universe, we would need to be able to sustain ourselves beyond our bodily abilities. As a human, we're short-lived. You figure anywhere from 50 to 110 years old. Yeah, we have a few outliers out there that actually get older than that. But in order just even traveling at, the speed of light, it would take us multiple years just to get to the closest galaxy. To think about that. That means whoever owns these vehicles are so much far beyond that. They would have to be able to bend space and time. Not just traveling at a specific speed. It's amazing. It is simply amazing. And it's information that we should share with each other. It reminds us, as I said, how much little time we actually have here. And that in our lifetimes, even our children or grandchildren's lifetimes, they will not see it either. Unless miraculously we reverse engineer these craft and are able to get out into space. A first contact, as you will, like in Star Trek, where the Vulcans came to Earth when they discovered that the humans discovered their first warp core. They were the ability to first actually exceed the, to make warp. Maybe it's in our future. Who knows? But I'm curious. This should make you curious. News like this could unite a species. We wouldn't look at each other as white, black, Mexican, Chinese, Slavic. We'd finally start seeing each other as humans. So news like this should be shared, not just on the internet or, YouTube web channels or news channels. This is something that our news media should be sharing with everybody. Let us find out. Give us the truth. Because news like this is, think about it, it's historical. Once in a lifetime. It's beautiful. But we won't know until it's actually confirmed, until we see it, until they show it to us. Hopefully one day that we'll actually see it. And I think we will. I don't think we're too far off. And I don't think it's going to be in their control anymore. I think if they're going to make themselves known, they're going to make sure that we all know. And it won't be able to be hidden. But anyway, kids, I'm going to have all my, sources and links in the bio. Check them out. Enjoy them. Do some exploring. See what's out there. Open your mind. Because if you think about the size of this universe and you think we're the only ones, you have a very small mind. You have a very narrow mind. Let your imagination run with it. Because that imagination, and if they're out there, that's how they got here. Let's just hope that one day that we'll be able to sail across the stars, jump from planet to planet, with just a thought. In an instant, we'll all get to experience it. All right. So I'm going to let you go, kids. I love you. Be good. And remember, vote angry. Talk to you later. Good night.